I was living what Innerlight Media was before I even made Innerlight Media. Innerlight Media was in me before I even knew it was in me. I was doing its stated mission before I created it. On our way to meet Zion Kim. Zion Kim is entrepreneur extraordinaire. He works with a lot of other entrepreneurs, helping them scale their business and reach the next level. Very intelligent, very intelligent. I love chopping it up with him. He works with another dope friend of mine, Preston Smiles. Now we're just gonna chop it up and figure out some ways that we can work together, how I can help him out, how he can help me out, and see how we can take each other to the next level. And I've been able to do a lot with my business, but at the same time, visibility leads to lead generation, and I need more of that. Also, to be able to systematize and structure my business in a way that allows me to scale massively. I'm helping him create a bigger platform for himself, so he can have a better deal flow, and also be recognized as the leader that he is. So yeah.
Today is I just want to learn more about your world and the actual business and what you got going on.
I was living what Innerlight Media was before I even made Innerlight Media. Innerlight Media was in me before I even knew it was in me. I was doing its stated mission before I created it. I've learned that your mission doesn't really change. However, the execution of it does, based upon your evolution. I just understood that I love diving into people's minds, taking their gifts and talents, and sharing it with the world. I love it. And social media is just one of the ways to distribute that. So for me, I think it's really important to know your why. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you working this much? What are you really trying to accomplish? When you do all the work that you think you're able to do, what's the next step? And for me, I am starting to understand that there are different ways to execute the same mission. So the time management allows me to utilize my time in ways to execute my mission in different verticals. So that's kind of where I really want to shine at a little bit more. How to execute my gifts in ways that allow me to reach more people.
Core team.
Me, which is the CEO. Terrell, which is the COO. He runs day to day. He makes sure everybody's doing their job. He makes sure that all the clients, he does interfacing with the clients. He's the one doing most of the meetings with them. I don't assign one person to a client. I don't do that. I do assign, actually I don't, he does. He assigns people to clients' tasks, like their social media and stuff like that. So for example, I got Matthew. Matthew is in charge of groups. He does all the groups. And plus he's in charge of distribution.
Engagement groups or Facebook groups or?
Yeah, Facebook groups. What he does is he manages the Facebook groups. He's in charge of making sure that they're running smoothly and growing and healthy. And then I have Sajid, who does YouTube, specifically YouTube. And that is the core team. How you assess whether or not you're willing to take the risk is based upon their credentials, the people you respect that they are aligned with, and the initial meeting that you have to see if you guys' goals and values are aligned. If it passes the test of your goals and values being aligned, and the people and the circles they run into and you run into, if those pass the test, then it's worth at least taking the risk of meeting them to see if it can go further than that.
When you sell something that's part of your core competency, then we want to make sure there's a consistency of the experience all throughout. So then the question becomes the knowledge with the business, or is it with the individuals? When you hear me share that, yeah, like what's your understanding of that? Thank you so much.
Yeah, whether or not it's going to be systematized.
Yeah, because I want to make sure that you're protected. Right?
The only issue is it possible to create a system to where everybody is just as competent?
Yes.
I believe you.
Yes.
I believe you.
Otherwise, Vayner wouldn't exist.
The question becomes, is the competency there? And I don't know the answer to that question when it comes to, I know the answer to the question is when it comes to me. When you're doing what you love, when you're doing what your mission is, it takes a lot of time and energy and effort to really kind of help bridge that into somebody else. So that requires, being sure of you saying, hey, I am going to do this whether or not it pans out or not. So that takes a lot of assurances in yourself. In order to do that, it's got to be something that's impactful or meaningful to you, or be worth it in a way that makes sense to you, whatever you consider your utility to be.
But when your clients come to you, they want strategy and all the execution.
Yes.
So do you want to be the shop where you say, hey, I do the strategy and execution? Or it's like, hey, I'm going to do the strategy, and then, you have people that can, I have people that can execute. But that's not how you pitch yourself.
Oh, that's a good question. So I come at them as a full service social media agency where we do it all.
YouTube growth is a core competency, social growth, Facebook growth, video production, content creation, content distribution, and strategy, core competencies. Yeah, which means then we want to make sure that stays in the business.
Which means I gotta hire an intern.
No, not necessarily. It just means hey guys, we need to start, hey, Matthew, you work with X amount of my clients with me when we do these types of things. Do you work with any other clients? No. Well, I need to start to standardize these things so I can make everything run smoother across the board. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in-house. However, you might want to start. Actually, most of these things, it might not make sense to bring it in-house, and it might make sense to bring some in-house, just based on how do we increase the profitability of the actual agency here.
3 major takeaways. Number 1 is I gotta write out and get better SOPs, standard operating procedures for each of the positions in my company. That's important, so I can make sure I can scale when it comes to people that work for me. And each position is meaningful, impactful, and then once I write those out, I can always build upon them to make them even more meaningful and impactful. So that's number 1. Then on top of that, it also allows you to get rid of the things that are extraneous. Number 2 is I need to understand a little bit more about profit margins and how to expand my business, and that's going to be being very detail oriented on the expenditures, the budgeting, and how much is coming from the actual client flow. That's very important. Each client needs to be accounted for, each dollar, what it's being spent on, why, who it's being spent on, and and if it continues to make sense. And then number 3, which is very important, which is going to be how to create the vertical for myself to make it to the next level. How do I increase what I consider my time and my value and my money in a way that's going to cause me to be more free and really expand my business and expand my time and other things I want to do. And just being more visible creates more opportunities for you. And I decided that if I really want to take Innerlight Media to the next level, this is the way I know how to. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, I've done this for so many other people. It's time to do it for myself.
Yeah.
Plus, I actually really enjoy creating content. Can't wait to meet up with him again, chop it up some more, and really see what I've used from the information I've gathered and how I've implemented some of that to increase everything that I'm doing in my business. So yeah, shout out to Zion.